It didn't look like she landed that first punch.
She never landed that first punch. That's why they never revisited it. They're not like AEW. They don't show mid stuff. Like they just don't.
I have no idea what happened with that punch. I just know she went down, and I was like, okay. And then they went to the kick, and I was like, that's all we did.
No, she hit the punch, and then you hear a loud thing from Beth. Like, oh wow, did you see that punch? Like, what?
But you know what's funny, Betty? I'm gonna say this. I love the fact that even on this show, Marcus can't be quiet when you say you're about to go live. He had to say something right before you hit the live button.
Oh no, Eric, this is the cold open we always do.
Yeah, this is the cold open. We have a cold open.
Oh, you just talk it into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then we do this.
I'm Shotzi Blackheart, the ballsy badass, and you are watching the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Remember to like the video and subscribe.
Check out the Marcus head, man. He should.
I hate you both right now. You guys are ridiculous.
Welcome everyone to another edition of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. I am, of course, Lord Manny. Hayes, and I'm joined by
Marcus the Grand Finale, who's also joined by
Eric the Hater, who is currently quarantined in his bedroom due to COVID reasons.
Yes.
You seem very happy about this, Eric.
You know, so, at least I have a nice room to kick it in, but still, it's the principle that, you know, I'm missing out on money from work because they say I can't go to work. But oh well.
You look like an angry toddler right now with your arms full of
Well, because in the pre-thing, you told me what we were going to start the show off with, so I have to get ready. With
I feel like you look like Mark Henry after Randy Orton cussed him out on his scooter.
You know, the sad part is I didn't see that because I didn't watch that show. But I saw the recap and I saw that Randy was going around belittling everybody. So, yeah, if I was Carlito, I wouldn't show up either unless you want me to wrestle.
Look at you, Mark. Look at you, Mark, on your scooter.
I feel like the last time the Carlito was on WWE TV, Ric Flair cussed him out, and I think that's a good reason not to show up either. Like, yeah, he kind of just chewed me out about being lazy or something.
So we ready to get into the show, lads?
Absolutely.
I was born this way.
You're like Lady Gaga.
Hateful.
Yeah, probably.
He came
and there it is. And we're off. The squeak has happened.
And he was like, Eric came out the room going like, but that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. None of that made sense.
Pointing back at the womb like, that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. It was an unnecessary dive out the room.
Eric, but what about that dive though?
man, them dives, man. I wish I didn't throw that side away. My protest ended.
All dives matter, okay?
Okay, so the show kicks off with Eddie Kingston versus Pac.
Yes.
There was nothing special about this match other than Pac picking up the win and then Lance Archer coming out at the end saying that the both of them need to get on the same page. How did you both feel about this match? Let's start with Eric.
You know, for me, like, overall, like, I was going to give them credit for trying to actually tell a story because it had some type of semblance of Eddie Kingston coming in, trying to destroy the Death Triangle and all this good stuff. And overall, the match started off with a flip dive right away. Just started off hot. What I didn't like was the mismanagement of the rules of the match. Because, like, it was one point in the match where Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix are coming around, but the referee's like, no, go back to your side. Go back to your side. But then they walk to the other side and all the teams are conglomerating on the hard camera. And I'm like, but he's not telling anybody to get away from there. So I'm just like, it made no sense. And then you add in Lance Archer or what's his name in AEW? The Murder Hawk.
Oh, yeah, it's still Lance Archer.
Still Lance Archer. Oh, okay.
I don't know why you changed.
But it's
he isn't Vance Archer.
Wait.
Lance Hoyt at the point it's like
Vance Archer was his ECW name.
He comes out there and he's like, we need to get on the same page. But what page is that? There is like no purpose for all these groups to be together. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's where I have a separation.
So to give some context to this, they were trying to feud with Eddie and his boys. So that's where they came together. But like, they had, other than run-ins, there hasn't been anything where they've spoken about it.
Okay.
They still haven't explained to me why the Murder Hawk is making saves lately, and he essentially turned face. And you got old ass Jake running out there with him. Jake shouldn't be running out there. Like, he's 70 years old. He gonna run out there because Murder Hawk's gonna make a save. It didn't make sense to me that they were trying to be on the same page and everything. I thought this was the best Eddie Kingston match though he's had in AEW. It was just like, it wasn't great.
Yeah, because Marcus
wasn't even good.
Marcus, majority of the match, he was getting beat up by Pac, which is easy when you get beat up the entire match. And then when he had some offense, it was always a smoke and mirrors offense where it's like he's limited. Like, I had no really issue with the in-ring work. It just seems like it's too much going on and not enough context.
I agree with that. But I'm going to tell you something. This match broke something that happened later in the night. Do you guys mind if I jump ahead to the end of the show? Or should I wait and hold this?
You should wait.
You
should wait.
So this is a series of things that didn't really matter to me. Chuck Taylor versus Miro. Miro wins.
Go ahead.
Manny, before you move on, I don't know how you guys show up, but do you give your opinion of what you thought about the opening match? Because I'm curious of what you felt when you saw it.
It was nothing special. It was kind of just there.
Okay.
So Miro wins with the accolade, and now Chuck Taylor is going to be Miro's young boy or butler for the next month. So another pointless feud. I feel like this is still going on until we get Trent back. So this is just going to go on for like another few weeks, and it just doesn't seem necessary. How do you feel about this, Marcus?
Oh man, Miro. I'm going to say there's several people in this company who came over that weren't part of the elite that should be really upset. And if this was WWE, people would be saying they're dead, they're killing off. Like this, they have several Keith Lees on this show, and I think Miro's one of them. The Murder Hawk is another, and Brian Cage is probably the biggest Keith Lee on that show.
The biggest Keith Lee.
The biggest Keith Lee, just somebody that they had some momentum from somewhere. People kind of got behind. It was like, oh, we got them, and then they kind of do nothing in these middle of the road, useless storylines of pure confusion. So,
Eric, I'm sure you hated this because you don't like anything to do with the best friends.
I don't, but so I actually enjoyed it because, especially Chuck Taylor, I can't stand him. So, Miro beating up Chuck Taylor, it's like great, and I like Miro. I didn't know that Trent was out, so I was wondering why this match even took place. Unfortunately for me, though, I feel like this is going to lead up to the wedding, and somehow this is all going to play out in the Penelope Ford, Kip Sabian wedding. And I just feel like when people jump to AEW, the one thing that they always knock about Vince is that Vince is always controlling and trying to change people. There's a reason why he's trying to change people. You can't have the same type of character on the show. I mean, there's nothing different between Miro. There's nothing different between Brian Cage. There's nothing different between Lance Hoyt. May he rest in peace. There wasn't much difference between Brody Lee. They're just different. They're all the same characters.
I think Brody Lee was a little bit more different than, let's say, the others that you named.
Yeah,
at least he
tried to be Vince McMahon. At least he tried to be Vince McMahon.
But then at that point, though, now I have Money Matt, who is trying to, take some of that Brody Lee spirit that he had when Brody Lee first came, where he's taking 30% of people's contracts and stuff like that. Like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need Matt Hardy on camera.
Now that you brought it up, that was the next thing that happened. It was Big Money Matt and the Private Party. And then he blamed them for not reading the fine print, and they signed it without reading it. And that was their fault. I've basically said Matt Hardy is selling them a dream and that they're going to be multimillionaires. But if they continue to wrestle the way they are, they don't improve, they're going to be in the broke business.
Not the hurt business. Oh, okay.
The broke business. And then they call Matt Hardy a money grabbing carny. Matt is outraged and claims they were nothing without him, and nobody cares about them. I agree with him. I don't care about the private party.
But Marcus, I'm sorry. Let me go first, real quick. The problem with this whole trio is that no one cares about any of them. Clearly, the private party, they had some potential when they beat the Young Bucks, but that went away. Matt Hardy is the lesser of the Hardys. I mean, maybe one of his kids will be good one day, but everyone knows money is with Jeff, and I can understand how he was upset when the Hardy Bros got put together, but I still think that was a better team than Matt and Jeff out of their prime. This is something that they could have edited off of the show that was not needed. You could have saved it for AEW Dark.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is, whatever the storyline is, I just felt like that last week, Snoop Dogg was present to watch them sign their contract. They seem to be very happy about this contract because Matt put everything in. This week, when he told him he was taking 30%, by the way.
Yeah, they knew.
Signed it. Yeah, they come back, and then all of a sudden they're upset with Matt Hardy, and they're already having dissension in like 1 week. It was like they did like a year of storyline, or at least 3 weeks of storyline in 1 week. This is literally the next episode. And to basically make this correct, this is the next taping. They tape these in the same night. I don't know how you go from 0 to 100 that fast in a feud. Like, that's the fastest I've ever seen anybody be upset about a contract.
Also, to jump on what Eric said, there's a thing in WWE, and they always complain about it. So when they go to AEW, they always say, I've got creative control now. There's a reason they don't give you creative control when you do shit like this.
Yeah, when they always go with, I gave them all these ideas, and they shut all my ideas down. I see some of your ideas, and I go, ugh.
Eventually, when you throw so much shit at the wall, something's going to stick. But you shouldn't be doing that when that is your main show.
No, I think it's like one of those things, with, like, especially with Matt Hardy, because I remember when Matt Hardy left WWE, he was so upset. He says that I came up with all this idea. I wanted to be Vanguard 1, all this good stuff, right? So he finally got to AEW. He tried it, and it failed. No one cared. And, I mean, I know in his head that he's going to say, oh, the pandemic stopped me because I didn't have the crowd to give the support. But I'm like, no, because more people rather see Jeff Hardy do this than you go, like that. Are you
going to do that again?
Like that. I mean, that was more JBL than Matt Hardy, but,
like, what are you throwing up there?
But it's a reason why some people shouldn't have creative control, because they don't know what they're doing. It's just, it doesn't make sense.
So moving on to something else that I feel like has outstayed their welcome. It's Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle and their New Year's resolutions. Hager has said Hager's only contribution to this was championships. Yeah. MJF wants to continue,
that's it.
Yeah. MJF wants to continue to strengthen his bond with the team and get rid of, and fat people gotta go. Chris Jericho thinks that this year. Yeah, Chris Jericho thinks that this is a year for him and MJF are going to win the AEW tag team titles, where everyone seems to have a problem with that. So next week, there's going to be a Inner Circle match between 6 of them to determine who's going to be the official tag team of the Inner Circle. Trash? Am I correct?
It was okay. I wouldn't call it full trash. So far, at this point in the show, this was the only thing that had my interest at this point in the show. I was going like, oh, okay, whatever. They can have this match. But the segment entertained me. It entertained me, I guess. I don't know. It was just there. And, him calling them a tag team like because Jericho has been bouncing around partners. Like, unprotected, too. Unprotected.
Does that make Cesaro a tag team slot?
He is. He's also one.
But he's a successful one, though.
Yeah, he actually gets to the title with all his tag team partners. Jericho teams up with him saying we're going for the tag team titles, and then they never team together again. He goes do commentary, teams up with another guy the next week. That's also part of Inner Circle. So only thing that I want from this segment is that they established that the Pride and Powerful get their own tag team spot. They are also another team that has been, I want to say, disserviced in this company.
Overlooked. They have been completely overlooked because they've got ties to the Inner Circle.
Yeah, they're a joke act and they don't really do anything. Whose dog is that, Eric?
That's my neighbor, man. These are the sounds that you guys don't hear when I'm in Studio A. This is what I hear when I'm quarantined. But allow me to piggyback off of Marcus in this situation. Marcus, I agree with you. I thought this was one of the few highlights of AEW that, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was actually somewhat enjoyable. The tag team slut line did make me laugh. Hell, it made Shantae laugh, who was reading her book. And she actually made me pay more attention to it. And I rewinded and paid more attention to the situation because I was just dismissing it. So at this point, though, the thing that I enjoy about it, and maybe it's just for selfish reasons, I think that you have more money if Pride and Powerful and Sammy Guevara can get away from the Inner Circle, because I think that they're young enough and they have enough microphone charisma to handle themselves on their own. And also MJF. The only thing that this is benefiting is probably Jericho, is that Jericho is riding the wave of the youth of AEW instead of letting the youth really go out and shine.
You know, at one point the Inner Circle was doing I would say they were doing good work and establishing characters in their group. Like Sammy Guevara seemed like he was on a good trajectory of going up. Hager seemed like a badass at one point. Pride and Powerful seemed like some good muscle. And then it's just been, ever since then, it's been a comedy act, and it's been downhill since then.
You know, the thing about it is that I would say I think I know the exact point when it went downhill for the Inner Circle, and it was the point where I guess Jericho had COVID. Those reports when they were doing those at-home segments and stuff like that, that was pretty lame, and that's the downward spiral of all the traction that the.
Hold on, I thought the at-home segments were early into it. I thought that was like before summer.
You know, Manny, 2020 has been so long. God knows.
Someone said Jericho didn't take really any days off really of Mr. AEW.
I thought that sounds like it was around the time they did Vegas, wasn't it?
No, the Flip Flam?
No. When they went to Vegas, I thought that was around the time.
No, because MJF had just joined the group. They just did. It was before what you call Debonair, and that was in like November, I think.
So I think the Flim Flam was like well early. I think that was like summer.
I don't know. Who? They have been dead since Stadium Stampede.
So
Stadium Stampede match, they haven't did anything.
Moving on.
Sammy Guevara got ran over by the golf cart. That was probably it.
So moving on, we did have an announced the Elite versus the Varsity Blondes and Danny Limelight. It turns.
What is Danny Limelight?
I had him originally as some other guy. But they mentioned Danny Limelight and I went with it. Don Callis swerves the introduction of the Young Bucks. He tells them that they have good music, they should come out by themselves. But then but instead of introducing the Young Bucks, he introduces the Good Brothers. And you know what, fellas? After watching this match, I think WWE were correct in releasing these two. These two are only good being someone else's goons.
I like that they were upset, about WWE not using them, but AEW's technically using them the exact same way as goons. They're just Kenny's goons. He's AJ Styles, and they're the Good Brothers again. And they work. I feel they work good as muscle, and I enjoyed them confusing the Young Bucks. But I also had that guilty pleasure of them cutting to the back and showing the Young Bucks with TK, and I was like, there we go. I'm telling you, Manny, we're weeks away from TK getting attacked.
Well, we've just been attacked. The Untitled Manny and Marcus show are also tag sluts.
Oh, wow.
Oh, why? We've only teamed with Ross and well, as we like to call him, light skinned Eric, because he's light skinned under him.
We were going with just calling him Manny as he's my stand-in.
Yeah, he's gonna be light skinned Manny. But that is what it is.
So they obviously the elite, the new elite, obviously win the match. John Moxley comes out to try and take out all three. Then when the numbers get the better of him, out come the Lucha Bros. Young Bucks try to stop Moxley from getting any more of Omega, and they both eat super kicks from the Lucha Bros.
So, Manny, because I didn't know when I was going to go, and I didn't want to be rude or interrupt. This whole segment, to me, this was probably the worst thing about AEW the whole week. Because it made no sense. It did. First of all, like Kenny Omega teaming up with the Young Bucks to face Griff, Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., and this other guy that we don't know. Why did we need this match? Why did we? What was the purpose of this match? It served no purpose. There's no trio tag teams. Who is clamoring that the Elite reunite? The setup made no sense to me. And then you have the whole Don Callis thing. He comes out, oh, Bucks, you should come out on your own because you guys are great. And then next thing you know, here comes Gallows and Anderson. It's like, well, if I'm the Young Bucks, well, I'm still getting paid. I was on the card. Who cares if they take the pin? And then as Marcus said, or Manny said, like, you get to the ring, and what did they really do? Like, this was like fan service to the people who enjoy everything that's anti-WWE. Let's bring in these merging companies and stuff like that. And yes, Mr. Limelight shined in the match, but who cares? Because he can't shine brighter than these three people who are there. And then everything that they did, it's like they protected the Varsity Brothers or whatever their names are, but the Varsity Blondes. But then it's all distracted because we have all these running. We have John Moxley, and this is where I was looking forward to Ross, who had not ever watched AEW, seeing how his version of John Moxley to be introduced. He's stupid. He gets into a ring with three other men, and then the sad part about it, he holds his own for a little bit too long, in my opinion. The next thing you know, here come the Pentagon, the Lucha Brothers. I don't know who they are, family. But like my whole thing is like, who are they aligned with? Are they aligned with Moxley? Are they aligned with Lance Archer? Are they aligned with Pac? They have too many allegiances that makes absolutely no sense. And then they super kick the Young Bucks. So everyone is trying to climb that brass level. Everyone's trying to
think it's a brass ladder.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
I'm sorry. I got caught.
Breathe.
Everyone is vying for a shot at the tag team champions, but no one really has a reason to get it because you have the Inner Circle. They're trying to determine who's going to go after the Young Bucks. Now you have the Lucha Brothers who are attacking the Young Bucks. Later on, we have a non-important match of FTR, and it's just like, what is going on? I thought AEW is where tag team wrestling lives. I just think this segment it was just all over the place.
Are you done? Are you done?
I don't think it'll ever be done.
Man, that was like a volcano erupted. Jesus. Let me slow everything down for you.
Wait, the hater is back, baby.
I mean, damn, that was like a month of hate that he held into himself. Like, I just had to let this out. Like a champagne bottle ready to explode. I just need to yell. Anyway, so let me break all this down for you, Eric.
You can ask me questions, but you can interview me like you guys interviewed the Fiend. I'm ready to answer.
Let me tell you something. I didn't interview the Fiend. I missed it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he was late. He was late.
I was late. I can't believe I missed it.
I interviewed the Fiend.
Yeah, in fire. In fire. It was amazing. I saw the video. It was amazing. Check it out. I agree with you, Eric. None of this made sense at the end. I don't know why the Lucha Bros were out there. I don't know why they kicked the Young Bucks. I felt that was a bit convoluted, and it was a mess. But for you to criticize John Moxley to get into a 3-on-1 fight, that's just what he does. That's what the badass babyface always did. I don't have a problem with that.
No, but
I have a problem with him trying to get Omega.
But
I have no problem with them having a random 6-man tag to set up the swerve that the Young Bucks aren't going to be in the match. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But what I'm not okay with, Eric, is how long this match was. If you want me to tell me these are the elite, you don't struggle with no Danny Limelight. Danny Limelight can't do shit to me. Y'all supposed to be the most badasses of badasses. They had a hard time. Kenny Omega was pushed to the limit by Danny Limelight, I felt like. And the Varsity Blondes. That match was too damn long. That's my problem with this.
I also felt
the part it made no sense. I'm not gonna rant as much as you did.
But I also felt that Gallows and Anderson had a hard time trying to conform to the rules of AEW because they seemed really off when they were performing. I don't know. Like it's one of those things where once again,
in front of our audience,
like it's one of those things where I'm like, Vince might have been right again. It's like
he was right.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Well, I'm for the record, and I know this could get a lot of wrestling fanboy hate, but I don't care. Vince is never wrong. Whenever he lets somebody,
he's wrong sometimes, man.
No, hold on. He has never let nobody go. In the past, I'm gonna say 25 years, he hasn't let a single wrestler get away from him that was gonna draw somewhere else.
John Moxley,
not really doing much.
I think he's.
Is he really doing anything?
Like, we lost Eric.
Oh, I guess we lost him.
We lost who?
Oh no, you're back now.
Okay, you're back.
Oh.
But is he really doing anything? He can't get 1 million views. It's not crippling his business. I'm talking about he hasn't lost a crippler. The only time he's ever let people go that has crippled his business was Hall and Nash and Hogan.
Well,
and they left to get more money that he couldn't pay.
But
it's
Marcus,
not like he didn't want to pay him.
But I don't think it's John Moxley's fault. I think it's the same thing that happened in WWE is that the powers that be are not booking him correctly. When he first came to AEW, they booked him awfully. And it's like, and then like the whole the entire first year of AEW, the whole plan was to book the executive vice presidents not being strong. But year 2, it's like, fuck it. We're taking everything now. We're going to be champions. We're going to like, it's Jeff Jarrett, but in 4 different people.
And Clyde's.
Well, now that we're talking about Jeff Jarrett, the person that's been recently linked to Jeff Jarrett, he was in the waiting room with Dr. Britt Baker, which I enjoyed the initial roast of Cody before he came out, and then the sparklers to add to his entrance because that's in his contract. With Pyro, a very nice touch. But then, just as a side, they bring out Jade Cargill as well, who already comes out with hot fire, calling herself a badass bitch.
I'm a badass bitch, and a mom,
and then stating nobody gives a damn if Brandy is pregnant, as the Miz would say, correct.
Yep.
9 months, no Brandy. Jade says if Brandy ever returns, she's gonna beat that ass.
But
this is where things get interesting.
That was a better promo than Jade, by the way.
So Red Velvet heard enough and slaps Jade, but then Jade hits her back, and I wrote in my notes because this is where Red Velvet is billed from. Jade hits her back to her mama's kitchen. And then Thunder Rosa announces that it will be Britt Baker versus her at Beach Break on the 3rd of February. How did you feel about this segment?
I think that's casually happening.
Benny, who are you asking? Are you asking me or Marcus?
Have you cooled down? Because I'll go to Marcus if you haven't cooled down yet.
I am perfectly fine.
Okay, let's go with you.
So
he's gonna heat up again in this segment.
I'm going to try to keep the anger inside. I thought in place the waiting room was a good idea. Oh, did we break up?
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay, so I thought the waiting room was a good idea at first, and I was like, okay, the entrance of Cody wearing his green jacket, promoting the big game show. I thought that all worked. The issue that I had was that how many people were standing behind that door? Because first Cody walked out, then Jade Cargill walked out. The next thing you know, Red Velvet from her mama's kitchen walked out. Then the entire AEW women's roster came out to break everybody up. And then they decided, let's just throw in this whole feud between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa up on the screen. And I'm just like, this is AEW at its best, just doing too damn much. You could have just stuck with Britt Baker making fun of Cody. Maybe had Jade Cargill go in there. I don't know, but it's just like, I don't get Cargill. I don't care about Red Velvet trying to defend Brandy's honor. I would prefer if it was Big Swole, because that would make me at least feel like it would be a better match. I don't know.
Big Swole was out there. Big Swole did come out. in the pull apart.
It had
There's so many people in that pull apart. I think there was more in the men's more in that pull apart than there was in the men's pull apart.
Yeah, it seemed like the entire women's locker room. Big Swole lost her pants in the middle of this.
Yeah,
her pants fell down.
It was like a bad episode of Maury Povich meeting Jerry Springer. Like it happened.
Why did Thunder Rosa show up on the Tron in her kitchen? Maybe in her
because she showed up because before she showed up, Britt Baker showed footage of what her and Rebby or Rebel did to her, and so they were watching the pay for.
They never even announced that. It was in the middle of this pool. And like you said, it was too much. It was too much in one segment. It was like being at a buffet and you eat too much of the buffet, like, oh, I should have ate that, and then you throw it all up later.
You see, Marcus, I was entertained by this though.
I was entertained by the Britt Baker part. The beginning, Britt Baker taking shots at Cody, and you know her Rebel and her stupid laugh at Britt Baker's stupid shit. They were the best part. And everybody else was just like, this is overkill. I don't want nothing to do with this Cargill, Cody, Big Swole, Women's Division, Brandy being pregnant storyline. Shaq somehow involved. I don't understand why we had all that.
Manny is clearly messy. I will point out that I did laugh out loud, though, when Red Velvet showed up, because I was like, man, this is hilarious. Why is she trying to... And then the fact that Cargill is dressed like Randy Orton, always ready to wrestle for no good reason, it's also kind of hilarious to me. Like,
but Cody won't give her a match. She's going to go. Maybe she needs to go to the Young Bucks.
There's also the Young Bucks, and if I remember correctly, Kenny Omega's in charge of the women's division anyway.
Yeah,
well, he's always at Impact now.
Yeah, and he's on the bus on Impact. You can always go to TK. TK ain't got no love for black women.
Can we go back to the previous matches? One little thing. I'm gonna be calm and collected. What did you think about the commentators trying to act like and be very dismissive of TNA's or Impact's pay-per-view, where they tried to act like they couldn't remember the name or something like that? I don't.
Oh, it was Shivani, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, he was like, "Is it Justice of Heart?" Or like, and I'm like, "Why are we doing this? Like, clearly you guys are working together. This is not even.
It's hard justice.
Isn't it hard to kill this weekend?
It's hard to kill.
It's hard to kill or something like that.
Hard
it's
justice
not.
Is gone.
It's not even remotely like you guys have like you guys are separate entities. You guys clearly are working together. I don't get the whole smoke and mirrors. I don't get it. But Manny, you're messy because you enjoyed all this brawl and this pull apart and stuff like that. I appreciate that about you.
I enjoyed the fact that Brandy got called out numerous times because it's well established I do not like Brandy and I think she's trash.
But Manny, I'm surprised that you like that because at the end of the day, all Jake Cargill did was steal material from us. That was the first thing that we said when we found out Brandy was pregnant. That's 9 months free of not seeing Brandy. And
I don't care.
That's not
if anyone was going to steal material from me, Jay Cargill can be the one that steals material from me.
I hope your girlfriend knows that. Because I don't think she'll be too happy.
Why you gotta go there?
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
I don't make any comments about Sharpie Wife when you do your stuff.
Yeah. When you talk about
you're right. I you know what? The quarantine
you broke some pro laws there.
You know what? The quarantine got the best of me and the barking damn dog. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm gonna put myself on timeout.
So we move on to a match that I don't understand why I enjoyed it because it was Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt versus FTR. But I don't understand why it was believable that FTR gave these two too much, mostly Marco Stunt.
Well, I didn't feel like Tully needed to be involved in this one. That they had to go to the Tully card to beat this team. But Manny, I want to throw it to you. Jungle Boy got his indie music of that song. That I know the song.
I know the song.
I heard it, I went, I know this. But this is what he wanted? I prefer the original theme song.
So Tony Khan bought the rights to this song for Jungle Boys for Christmas.
Yeah.
To use. And I just feel like it's ridiculous to be using this as a thing. But if it works, if he was by himself, not when he's still parading around with these idiots.
We lost Eric.
I'm here again.
But yeah, I just thought that it was stupid to have that song. I missed the Jurassic Express song already.
Well,
And I never cared about it until it was gone.
I
was
love the
like,
fact.
oh, that's the song.
So I had to call Marcus for multiple reasons. I said, first, this is what Tony Khan paid for. I'm like, I guess. And second, why is Marco Stunt the one that's fighting? And he had to explain to me the convoluted backstory behind it.
Wasn't that convoluted? They disrespected
No,
the
but
man.
I felt
They
like
disrespect.
no, but I felt like this is where like they could have took a page out of WWE's playbook and gave us a little backstory of why these guys are fighting. Because
They did.
I didn't get a package.
The disrespect. You ain't getting no package for this.
I feel like I should get a package.
You're gonna be like, why am I getting a package for
Marcus,
this?
I got a package for Kingston and Pac. I could have got a package for this.
That's real shit, though.
Aren't all wrestlers treated equally in AEW? Don't you all have a voice? Isn't that the case?
They didn't need a package. Eric.
Oh, you playing this card now, Eric? Have we got down to the bottom of the barrel where you're playing this?
Yes, I am.
If you follow the product, you know where this belongs. This had to happen. But I just thought FTR, an elite tag team, the best tag team probably in the world today.
They gave him too much.
They gave way too much. This shouldn't have been anything.
Thing is, I understand if you sell a bit more for Jungle Boy because I feel like he's the only talented one out of the three of the Jurassic Express.
Well, Luchasaurus wasn't even out there.
And but then why are they going overboard selling for Marco Stunt? It's like where we go back where Kenny Omega was fearful of Marco Stunt.
That was the low point
to me personally, it just looked like to me that FTR is now going through the motions. Like they're not motivated again. It just they don't have that same energy that they had when they first debuted in AEW because I really thought they felt that it was going to be something different. And I think they're learning that it ain't much different as they thought it was going to be. And it's probably less money.
No, I'll tell you this. It's an elite party. It's just all about the elite. And, in this tag team division, the world's greatest tag team division alive, which I'm always going to say because they make you say it, that no one's actually going to contender for these tag team titles. The Young Bucks are just kind of around since they won those titles are doing stuff. When FTR had it, you had their brush with gold. They were fighting people, defending the title, having matches, cutting promos, and doing stuff. The Young Bucks are just kind of walking around. Now they're concerned about the Kenny Omega deal. I'm assuming they're going to fight the Good Brothers, maybe, tag champions versus tag teams in the future. I honestly don't know when you have a gazillion tag teams on your roster and no one's going for the belt.
Well, that's the problem, especially if you're FTR. You've gone to a place where I reckon they would have succeeded if AEW's roster was half the size.
Possibly. But I just feel like, I get why Vince let them go, but just imagine if FTR was in NXT. I think they would be the best tag team in NXT. And like they could probably just do wonders in this Dusty Rhodes tournament. But maybe for them, they saw NXT as a step down. I'm not really sure what was going on for them. But I just feel like, AEW was supposed to be the place where we got to see new stars and stuff like that. And yeah, we see new faces, but we don't see these faces in prominent roles because right now we're being dominated by the elite. I mean, at least Cody has stepped back somewhat, but like Omega and the Young Bucks, it's like
around. Cody got to be there. Cody has to be there. Snoop Dogg's there. Shaq's there. I think this was Britt. If Shaq shows up, Cody's there. Cody greets everybody.
Arguably, he's the biggest star, though. He has that Cody Rhodes name. You can say he's the son of Dusty Rhodes, and it strikes, things.
Of all the wrestlers of that group, I feel like he shouldn't have took the step back, though.
I agree with you on that one.
Like, he was actually, he was doing stuff. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but his matches, he was telling decent stories. His storylines had decent stories. Like, you would go to a beginning, middle, and end through everything.
I'm confident about
fast and rush, but then it's kind of like now he's just kind of like.
I'm confident if someone would go and go rewind through all my AEW critiques and stuff like that, I probably have not been that negative about Cody Rhodes. Ain't nobody got
time for that.
I know, and no one's gonna do that for Cody Rhodes. But Manny, I feel like I'm having this AEW segment waffle on a little bit. So continue, sir. I'm sorry.
So Conti took on Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's Championship match. Once again, no sign of the AEW Women's Champion. And then this was easily the best match on Dynamite. Easily.
Yeah.
for multiple
Deeb,
reasons.
Yeah, every time I watch Serena Deeb wrestle and on AEW, I go like, WWE, you could have really just used her. She could have been just a hand on the show. She would have been better than watching any Mandy Rose or Dana Brooke match. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And her and Conti used to work in a performance center together, so it makes sense that they could put on a good match. It was solid.
Yeah, Conti's cute. Serena Deeb was a good wrestler. They put on a good match. It was solid.
So we get on to what AEW call a main event. Brian Cage versus Darby Allin, defending the TNT Championship for the first time in 67 days of winning it. So the two spots at the beginning of the match.
Oh my God, Jack Tunney! Oh my God, Jack Tunney!
Manny, can I go first on this one?
Yeah, I haven't finished it.
No, I just want to go first.
Can we do the introduction?
So the two spots in the beginning of this match, Darby goes for a dive and Cage catches him into a suplex, which is kind of cool. And then he throws Darby to the outside through a table. And then Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs interfere with this match when the lights go out and Sting appears and hits Ricky with a bat as Darby wins with a crucifix pin off the top rope. Go ahead, Eric.
With having so many great minds in AEW, you have Tully Blanchard, you have Sting, you have Taz, you have Chris Jericho.
Sting a great mind.
I'm just saying that I don't understand who booked this match. I don't understand how we went to 0 to 100 so quickly. As Manny said, that suplex spot, that was great. I really enjoyed it. I wish we had a little bit more build-up before it, but surely thereafter that one, I can't really savor that spot because then we go to another holy shit spot of I'm going to throw him out the ring into a table, and then guess what? After that, they had nothing else. It was like
no, there was other stuff.
He got powerbombed a few times.
Yeah, but
that's some bullshit.
No, but I mean, it was nothing else that really captured that impact of that big move. Like that was like
belt. You like the belt on Brian Cage's legs being tied up.
I thought that was a disqualification.
There was a lot that was going on. And then for the ending to be Ricky Starks getting involved, and then Sting comes out and throat punches him in the throat with a bat, and then Darby Allin wins. It's like, come on, man. Really? And then you had Hobbs come out with his fancy shirt like he going to the club afterwards. This could have been a better match if they would have took some time to better pace it out. And it just frustrated me.
Before I get my take, do you know why Hobbs wasn't at ringside? Do you remember why?
I thought he was barred from ringside.
No, they're only allowed to have one person at ringside or something like that. Taz said it.
Yeah, Taz said it. They said that the Team Taz is only allowed to have two people at ringside due to all their interference. When earlier in the night, the Butcher, the Blade, the Bunny, Penta, and everybody else looked like a damn lumberjack match. Where all these people who interfere in matches are at ringside. But here's my question: if Will Hobbs would have sat in the stands to watch the match, would he technically be at ringside? I'm just saying. Anyway. Man, you go into your script because I got a lot to say about this match.
So my conclusion, I'm going to conclude AEW. So if you want to conclude this match, you can do that first.
Oh, okay, then fine.
And Manny, if he says something that I would like to piggyback on, can I piggyback on?
Yes, you.
You're like to yield your time. You're like to yield your time. That's what I like to pay attention to the region. I like to yield more time. I yield 2 more minutes to the gentleman. Please, 2 more minutes to the gentleman.
I need to point out we have spent 40 minutes on AEW.
I'm here, Manny. We know what happens, Manny, but we'll make it up because we'll go.
It's all right.
We'll breeze through NXT in 20 minutes. Sure, I guarantee. You guys won't be here too long.
Good show. Good job. No, this main event is bullshit. It's bullshit, and I could not watch this. Like, I wanted to turn it off. I was so frustrated with this main event. The first, Darby Allin getting eviscerated to start the match by getting thrown across the arena through some tables on a chair was a nice spot. That should have been the end of the match. That was the end of Darby Allin and the end of this hogwash right there. So Cage goes on and has this match. Like Manny said, there should have been a disqualification with the belt spot. like, and JR and I think somebody going like, where's the disqualification? Well, I don't understand. He's clearly cheating. Oh, the fact that, Brian Cage beat the stuffing off Darby Allin, he was kicking out a 1. And, Brian Cage did all his power moves and still couldn't put Darby away. It was just getting 1 counts. And then Sting comes out and hit Ricky Stark. Not Brian Cage, who you can protect in the situation. You can hit Brian Cage with a bat and then get a pin, maybe, and it help him. No, Darby Allin wins with a crucifix. This is outrageous. They have killed Brian Cage. You would never see this happen to a Brock Lesnar. You would never see that happen. Brock Lesnar fought in smaller guys like Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, and hell, I'm even going to throw John Cena even though he isn't that much smaller. But at any point, and Kofi Kingston. 8 seconds of Kofi Kingston. Oh, and Ricochet. He fought all these little guys, but when they landed their offense and stuff, Brock Lesnar never looked weak. Brian Cage landed all his big moves, and he kicked out a 1. Nothing can beat Darby Allin. He's at Fiend level power. Fiend level power at this point. It's bullshit. Brian
So was there anything you wanted to piggyback on now, Eric?
No, I think it just comes back, as Marcus said, that it's improper booking. Like, yes, it's inexcusable to emancipate. Maybe, demasculate. I'm making up words. Brian Cage, the way that they
is a word.
The way that they have, like the fact that these are big power moves, they look impressive. But if a man who weighs 170 pounds, let's point out, they didn't weigh in the week prior, so we can know that Darby Allin weighs 170 pounds. And these moves mean nothing. What makes me believe that when Brian Cage does his move on a Jon Moxley, it's going to put Jon Moxley out? Nothing.
Well, they were touting that Brian Cage was undefeated. And he has never been Peter Smith. No, he passed out last time I saw him in a big match. He was in that much pain. He passed out and Taz threw the towel in. It was like, my man is dead. Oh, I mean, Darby Allin flicked him off. It was like, fuck you, your moves don't hurt.
With his nail polish on.
Yeah, and I was like, what is the point of Brian Cage now? You can't do nothing with that guy. If he doesn't move to anybody else, I mean, maybe if selling Darby's tough, that's fine. But I don't see Jeff Hardy fighting The Undertaker and The Undertaker looking like a piece of shit after. No, The Undertaker beat his ass. And Undertaker won. Or if you do lose a match like that, it has to be some form of shenanigans or some reason the big man knocked himself out. Brian Cage didn't do any of that.
No,
lost.
I'm confident that if I had listened to Busted Open Radio this morning, Bully Ray would have said this because he's been hammered. You have to protect your size. Brian Cage is not protecting his size. Like Keith Lee, you could say whatever you want about Keith Lee in WWE since he's been called up. But the one thing you know about Keith Lee, he's a big man and it takes a lot to get him down. Brian Cage, he looks like a big man, but he's soft as a feather. He blows over like this. Oh my God, Brian Cage is on his back. And that's what I feel like. But let's move on to the good show, Manny. Please, let's close it out.
Well, so if I told you AEW was written like Raw an hour before the show, I would firmly believe, given on what this show was. And I 100% believe watching AEW is like watching Monday Night Raw. And it's a hard watch.
It is. It's a long 2 hours. For me. I know other people eat it up. You go anywhere in the world, that was a great show. Did they do it? Did they do it? But then you probably tell the flaws, no, that didn't happen. That ain't true.
Yeah, so
it's like, no, it's the same thing you bitch about Raw happens on this show.
Raw, it's such a hard watch, especially this episode. Like, the only saving grace for it was the women's match. And that was a title match, which should have ended the show.
But so many, because it was.
I didn't realize
because Manny, I think it comes down to that's a wrestling match, and luckily El Luchador is the only one in the chat room because I'm about like AEW is too much about the climax. They keep giving you that climax instead of being and building you up and getting you to that point. They just want to go straight there and hit you like a shock value. We had that with the 6-man tag. Oh, Young Bucks aren't here. Guess who's here? Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. Shock. Oh, let's throw Darby through a table. Shock. Let's have Sting come out and stop Ricky Starks. And the next thing you know, he wins and retains his title. Shock. Let's have Jade Cargill interrupt this. Shock. But let's throw in Thunder Rosa getting screwed. Shock. It's too much shock treatment. And we don't need that.
They have the Shockmaster running the show.
Yeah, pretty much. They need to tone it down. You need to have pacing is the key to any good wrestling show.
So you're like that smooth shock value, like Silk Shocker.
Yes.
No, he likes playing the long game.
The long game, man. Just call me Mr. Romantic.
Mr. Bombastic.
It wasn't me.
But they caught you on the counter.
So let's move into the good show. NXT. Shot.
Good show. Like your kids. Well, this is my son in AEW. He's on drugs. He kind of dropped out of school, but I still kind of love him every now and then. There's a little charm there. It's a little charm. But there's my good kid, a scholar, knows NXT, follows all the rules, goes by the book, gets better every time I see it.
Shotzi versus Candice LeRae opened up tonight, and it was a good opening match. I really enjoyed this. It continues the story between Shotzi and The Way. Shotzi later in the night makes the biggest mistake in her life by deciding to partner up with Ember Moon in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, which Ember Moon cut a really bad promo when she even came out. You're talking about me?
Like for me,
Ember's low, baby.
No, this is like for me, like the whole idea of like WWE
drunk.
when they're doing their backstage interviews. It's like it's just people standing back and like was Shotzi gonna pick whoever walked by next, and then Ember just was walking by. Oh, you talking about like I just didn't get it. But kudos to Candice LeRae and Shotzi for putting on a good match. I mean, also for them trying to get some type of credibility of why the Garganos is the way and stuff like that, trying to get Indy involved. I enjoyed the opening match, and then they had history because Candice did destroy the tape. I really have no complaints about this, except for maybe Ember and Shotzi teaming up.
I have a complaint. It's not a big complaint. My complaint is I would rather for this not to start the show. I feel like that one of the tag matches should have started the show for the Dusty Classic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like that should have started the show because it seems like this is just a random match on there. And I'd rather for you set the stage that we're going to get a shit ton of Dusty Road tag team matches. That's
Marcus,
what
I can counter why they started this off because it was two reasons. A, they had the surprise team entrance in the later on stages of the show. But I think they wanted to be able to set the stage for the NXT Women's Dusty Classic because this is the first time ever. So you have this match, and then afterwards, after Shotzi loses, she goes and announces that I have a partner that we're announcing for the first ever Women's Dusty Classic, and she teams up with Ember Moon, and then you realize that's a mistake.
Well played.
So we move on
you
to...
did that at any point in the show, though. You could have started with MSK. You could have did MSK and whoever, and you could have did Shotzi and Candice, and then they do the same shit later in the night.
Yeah, but believe it or not, I believe that they think that announcing of the women's tag team tournament is bigger than MSK's debut, which I agree. I think so.
They announced the tournament last week.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't watch it.
We move on to Finn Balor coming out. He says Kyle is great, but he's not on his level. Kyle stepped up and got put down. Only difference this time is Kyle is the one eating meals through a straw. Finn Balor says he's put the X on his chest because he knows he's a target, and to remind people that they have stopped manufacturing the cloth that he is made from.
Oh!
That is a good line. That was a good line.
Who manufactures cloth like that?
Out comes Pete Dunne and the Britain Brawlers. He says the only reason he is the poster boy for European wrestling and the current NXT champion is because he hasn't taken it from him. Then all three take out Finn, Kyle O'Reilly, and the rest of the Undisputed Era tries to make the save.
One, I really enjoyed the Finn line. I'm sorry I jumped ahead. It just took the spot. I enjoyed the Finn line of that they don't make the cloth for me anymore. I was like, damn, that's a motherfucker right there. But Finn looked like a star in this. My only problem is when Pete Dunne came out and his backup is Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, he would have been better, I felt like, walking out by himself.
Yeah.
I don't take those dudes serious.
Do you know what? I think I could take Oney Lorcan a little bit seriously, but I can't take Danny Burch. I really can't take Danny Burch seriously.
Danny Burch looks like somebody's dad.
So
like
this is
shirt, like Danny Burch has a shirt with the 2 on there, which shows that you're not even number 1 in your tag team. You're a second fiddle in your old tag team, and no one's gonna buy that Danny Burch shirt, by the way.
No one's buying either of those shirts.
I think, like for me, Marcus, I think this is where I have to disagree with you and Manny. It's that the fact is that I agree that we know where Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan are from and all that, but for someone who might not watch NXT, they bring an aesthetic to they add a griminess to them because like when you show Finn arriving, then you saw Pete Dunne arriving, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. Because Finn sounded like a star, but he's still not putting butts in seats for NXT. Like, but at the end of the day, I think we all want to see Finn versus Pete Dunne. Am I correct when I say that?
Yeah, I want to see Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor. But then all you got to do is look at you. I think you end up looking forward because what they did after later on in the night was Scarlett doing voodoo.
Tower card. She was reading the tower cards, man.
Yeah,
I really like that.
And it's obvious that the next step is carrying Cross and Finn Balor.
Yeah, and as Eric does,
can I see the menu real quick?
Are you ordering fucking food?
Yes.
Are you ordering food?
Yes.
Real quick.
Yeah, you guys, I'm listening, but I'm listening. Where are we going at? Did you guys ask me a question?
No.
Oh, what are you ordering? What are you ordering, Eric?
Oh, we're ordering Lucille's.
Oh, so barbecue.
Yes.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Shante, if you go over there, they can see you. Yeah.
So, hey, Shante, how you doing?
Okay.
Hi, Shante.
I'll use yours.
You
Okay.
can't hear us because he's in earphones. But
I got the earphones.
he can relay our message. Anyway.
They say hello.
I would rather see... Can you stop talking? I would rather see Pete Dunne walk out with, like, Imperial, and I would be more impressed. It would be like, oh, okay, you know. That seems like
He
a
would
set.
look-
Because at least if you have McAfee, it gives him some credibility.
He would
These
look
guys
more
are
impressive
jobbers.
with the other two, Mustache Mountain.
Yeah. So I don't know where we're at with that, but it seems like they were going to the direction of Kyle running out he saved Finn this time.
Ow.
I should have muted it after she walked out.
Oh God. Oh, you know that Kyle went out to make the save, even though he's not medically cleared to be there. Do you think they're forming some form of a club, an undisputed club?
Maybe because Bobby Fish is out at the
To
moment.
counteract it.
I kind of feel like they're teasing their own version of the Bullet Club without saying it. That's what I got from it. Like
Infringement.
Because you know what? Cease and desist. I mean, you have to ask yourself this question. If you had to take which version of the Bullet Club would you want? Would you want the Bullet Club version of Omega, Gallows, and Anderson? Or do you want Finn, Cole, Strong, who was never a part of it, and O'Reilly? I don't know.
He was also never a part of it either.
Kenny wasn't the
only Cole.
leader. Kenny wasn't the leader when the Good Brothers were there, were they? Only for like a short amount of time.
That's when his contract expired.
No, yeah, the Good Brothers, they jumped him out. The Elite jumped out the
Yeah.
Good Brothers.
No, I don't think the Good Brothers got jumped out. I think the Good Brothers were part of the jumping of AJ Styles when they jumped him out.
No, they all got jumped. I think they all got jumped. Altogether.
But I do agree with you guys that this is where it being Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan really plays a role, because I don't believe that they can compete with anybody in the Undisputed Era. Like you can put Finn. I think Finn and Cole can beat that trio by themselves. Like having Roderick there is just like he's just gonna take the beat. Like Lorcan and Burch is like, I wish they had a better tag team. This would have been, unfortunately, so much better if FTR had stayed in NXT, because it would have been amazing having them team with the Bruiserweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing about this club thing. I would like, if they do a club thing, I think you got to include AJ Styles and Almost in there. I'm just saying, they're not doing anything. You can throw AJ, Bálor, Cole, and Almost with Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong could kind of be there. And you right there, you have a real club right there. I'm just saying, I would really respect that group. Just because Almost is in it.
So for someone that
Bálor.
Marcus, we moved to a match where Marcus doesn't have respect for any of these people, a certain type of people, was the Grizzled Young Veterans versus his boys Ever Rise. I wrote in my notes, if you can't have FTR, I would take GYV as a very good replacement. But I also wrote in my note, is it me or has Marcus's boys Ever Rise improved in the ring? As this match was good from both sides. Like
Manny.
It wasn't just like good from GYV,
Manny.
it was good from both.
Manny, I need you to be quiet, because Mark is about to say something that's going to blow your mind. because we had a brief conversation.
It wasn't that big. It was very brief. It was. I don't hate Everrise no more, and I think they're a good tag team.
What?
I don't want to say this anymore. I've I turned the boat on them. I judged them. This is why you don't judge a book by their cover.
You judged the book by the entrance.
Yeah, by them being delivered into the bookshop. I didn't really like that delivery. A delivery guy sliding under another delivery guy's orbit. I didn't really like that. And I felt there was nothing there. But once you read the book that they delivered, you realize there might be something here. They're pretty good. They have some. The whole Everride rules is annoying. It's good heel work. They understood, and they had a really good match with GYV. And I was impressed. I enjoyed this match.
My favorite part of the match is when Martel got upset and he went on his
Martel,
the chunky one, the fake Matt Jackson, the fat one.
Matt Jackson.
Yeah, his name is Martel. His name is
really?
Yes, Mark. I know their names, man.
I don't know their names.
His name is Martel, and he went on his his comeback, and I was like, wow, they have gotten better. My question for you guys, and this is because it was a good match, it was fine. Is this going to be the year that GYV takes the championship? They've been so close so many times, and they never get there. Is this the year for GYV?
So let's talk about all the tag matches as one now, anyway, so we can bring up the bracket. So we currently have GYV already. They look like they're going to take on either Leon Ruff and Kushida or Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory.
I got Theory and Gargano.
Yeah, I would have Theory and Gargano take that because they're leading to something with this, and if they're pushing with the way.
I don't think Leon Ruff is gonna make it to that match.
What do you mean?
I think somehow Dexter Lumis is gonna get involved and end up teaming up with Kushida.
Oh.
Plot twist. Oh. That's well played right there.
Because when I look at Kushida and Leon Ruff, and based on what happened when we get later on, I feel like somehow he's going to get involved in this match some way or somehow. Either costing Kushida and Ruff the match or eliminating Gargano in Theory.
Because
in theory or and Theory?
And Theory.
Like doing.
So we do have the debuting MSK versus Jake Atlas and Swerve Squat.
Swerve squats. Swerve squats. I don't know how to do those. Those are really difficult. I hate when my trainer makes me do swerve squats. Really
I know nothing about MSK, which I believe they were called the Rascals in
the Rascals, and that's what Vic. Shout out to Vic Joseph, Johnny Gargano for repping the Cleveland Browns because they're big Cleveland Brown fans. I saw the video Candice LeRae posted. If you saw Johnny Gargano tights, they were Browns tights. And also, if you saw Vic's suit, he was also in brown colors. And yes, they did beat my Steelers, but Ben has to go. But sorry, Manny.
So, but I also think the two that debuted in MSK look like people's characters on GTA Online.
They do.
And I was honestly waiting for Swerve to turn on Atlas, as men with red streaks in their hair should not be trusted, as we've always learned from the sellout to Tonka. And when we got backstage with the pull apart between Jake Atlas and Swerve Scott, you had the big boy, the thick boy, separate them, and then Swerve going, "Oh, you got to take his side, are you?"
So I knew Atlas was in trouble when I saw that Swerve had his grills in. When he had his teeth, I was like, "Oh shit, it's going down." He been in the studio, he colored up them braids. Thank God Thick Boy was there to stop that from happening because no one wanted Swerve Scott and Atlas as a team.
Swerve's a heel, Eric, and he decided to team up with Atlas out of respect for the match they had last week. But
wait, Swerve is a heel now? When did he become a heel?
It's been about 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, we got 2 dislikes. Oh, go fuck yourselves.
It wasn't for me, Manny. It wasn't for me. I actually liked the video.
No. I believe it's for your ranting and Raven, probably.
Oh.
You don't talk bad about AEW, man. That's like the first rule of YouTube.
Oh.
Otherwise you get the dislike.
Go fuck yourself. Girl said.
Just put it in the comments. That's why you hate it. I don't care. I honestly don't care. So, Yeah, this happened. MSK, Nebraska. I thought they were an okay tag team. I still think they're an okay tag team. I wasn't blown away. It's just like they are who they are.
They you know what? I like the fact that they are actually a tag team. I think they have to have some ironing out to fit into the WWE mode, but I thought they did really well in their debut. I thought they brought a good energy. It should be very interesting to see where they go. It's a tragedy that Matt Riddle is gone because I think Matt Riddle could have been the third because I know the third guy didn't sign with them or something happened.
Are they going to be hampered by the third guy not signing?
I don't know. The few times that I've seen the Rascals when I watched Impact, I was like, that is very strange. But I was like, I guess it's for an audience that does not apply to me because I don't smoke, so I don't know like a lot of the innuendos that they do and stuff like that.
They just smoke weed in the back in the treehouse, and they do that 70 show shot.
Yeah, so I just thought that they had a very good debut. How far they move in this tournament, I don't know.
And then, do you know what? I'm going to talk about the main event and then end with what I believe is the main event. So, Breezango versus Undisputed Era, which is Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. This was an all right main event. Shenanigans on the outside as Kyle is taken out by Pete and the boys. Finn attempts to make the save. And then Fandango eats the pin by jumping into a super kick from the top rope.
That end was out of nowhere. It's like they cut, and all of a sudden Adam Cole's on the other side of the ring, and Fandango runs into his foot. And I go, okay, that's the end.
The one thing I liked about this match, though, was that for that brief second, I was like, oh, shit, Breezango's going to win. Like, I was like, oh, wow. Because when I saw Adam look shocked, like, what happened to Cal on the outside? And I'm like, oh, what? Fandango's about to come up for the win. And I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I wanted that to happen. I wanted to lose that way, and Cole would look at it and be like, O'Reilly was hurt, and something like that. And it leads to O'Reilly or Cole going, you cost me the Dusty Classic. That's the only thing. I could have been a 2-time Dusty Classic winner.
Manny,
he's the only one in the tournament who has actually won this thing.
So, Manny, my question for you, you said that you're going to say the main, is that Gargano and whoever he fought? I can't remember.
No, Eric. Just let me steer the ship today.
I already know the main event.
It's the prelude to the fight pit.
No.
But we'll get there. So let's talk about the bracket now. So there's so much going on in this with everyone in this. So I don't know if the Undisputed Era progress, but they may make it to the. They're definitely a shoe-in to make it to the finals now.
Yeah, it might be MSK versus Undisputed Era.
I don't think MSK is going to get that far.
Me neither.
I think they're going to go all the way to the final.
I don't. I
found that other side of the bracket that's worth a damn.
So you think they're going to get by Maverick and Dane? You really do?
Yeah. I don't feel like Maverick and Dane are gonna. They're not gonna beat them.
No, I believe they're gonna get to the semis against Imperium, and they'll lose to Imperium from that side of the bracket.
If it was my pick, I'm going GYV versus Imperium as the finals.
Interesting. Well, on the left side, there's only 2 teams I like really on the left side, and that's Legado del Fantasma, who I don't think is gonna win. Who may get eliminated by that damn Grand Metalik, who's really good in tournaments. He always wins them.
But Grand Metalik got to get past Imperium.
Yeah, and I think they're going to do it. I think Grand Metalik got him.
Okay.
I got Lucha House Party beating Imperium, and I have MSK going to the finals against Undisputed.
Would you bet your championship on that?
Oh no, he's already got his beard on the line against El Luchador at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but I'm trying to take his title. I can give a damn about his beard.
I give you, Eric. I give you the #1 contendership for the tournament. But I don't think the final is anytime soon. You know. No, it's gonna be a takeover.
Yeah. So
the Royal Rumble comes first. You have to win the Royal Rumble before this happens.
I've already won the Royal Rumble, Manny. I've already won the Royal Rumble. I don't think that I'm going to lose, okay? You know how people take one match at a time? They're weak. They are soft. I can do several matches at a time.
I feel like I can challenge
do several, and I can beat you here. I can beat you there. It's like playing checkers, baby. I'm jumping over you. I'm jumping over you, and I'm already at the end. So kick me, baby.
I just feel like Marcus in his title shot should be defended over one match. Tony Nese against the Adonis and Desmond match because no one knows who's gonna win that match.
Okay.
I will pick Niece's Pieces for that. And I know they're not called. I know they're not called Niece's Pieces. I know they're not called Niece's Pieces.
I will pick Adonis Desmond on that match if it was up to me.
You mean Desmond Troy? Or as you like to call him, Angelo Dawkins too.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the show.
Yes.
So Dexter Lumis took on Johnny Gargano. I thought it was a decent match here. The finish I didn't really necessarily like, but it pushes the story forward, where Lumis looked like he T-bone slams Theory back into the ring while Johnny hits a roll-up for the 3. Kushida makes a save and then holds up the North American title. How did you feel about the match, Eric?
Match was fine. I mean, like, the way is going to get in the way. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. My whole thing was I'm watching this match, and maybe because the last time I really paid attention to wrestling, the feud was Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes, and I'm like, where's Cameron Grimes at? He ain't in the tag team tournament. He ain't doing it. Like, what happened to Cameron Grimes, damn it?
He might be hurt.
I think he's hurt.
Okay.
You can't forget about this week. Also, they had their COVID protocol issues.
Well, the thing was,
seemed fine.
Marcus. So Manny and Marcus, let me tell you, what I was more worried about, I was afraid that he might have been called up to the main roster, and that is just death for Cameron Grimes. I can't have him called up.
I think someone like
great.
him would work. Someone like his character would work on the main roster.
Honestly, Vince loves some shit like this. And other guys would work. And I imagine him and R-Truth battling out for the 24/7.
I know, but I don't want him to be a 24/7 champion.
If there was ever a person to take the mantle of R-Truth, I think Cameron Grimes can pull that off.
Yeah. So we have the sit down with Ciampa and Thatcher. The one thing I learned from Ciampa in this whole sit down was he has bad seating posture.
He looked like a little man.
He was like all hunched over and everything. So that just
he got a little chair. I thought somebody gave him a little chair. Like, why do I got a little chair? He got this giant chair.
That just said he's a different person in the fight pit. And Ciampa looks like a man who is questioning if he's still got it.
Oh.
My favorite thing about this segment, they were talking about, like, it's been multiple fight pits. There's only been one fight pit ever. But
yeah.
It's like
you're undefeated in the fight pit. There's only one fight pit.
Yeah, it's like whatever. But the thing about this segment,
Thatcher won the fight pit match. I thought he lost.
No, he won and then
he beat Riddle, Marcus.
I thought Riddle got him.
No, Thatcher won that match.
I remember that differently.
So, but the greatest thing about this that makes me laugh all the time is that this is the one segment that Shantae is invested in. Like, she stops to see what Thatcher got to say because ever since she saw him beating up his students, she's been invested in him. And she's like, what's the fight pit? And I was like, I can't really explain the fight pit, but it's awesome when it works out.
It's a cage match.
It's a cage match just without ring ropes.
And you got to win by submission or knockout. Good times, though. I enjoyed that segment. And, even though Ciampa had the pretty poor posture, it stood up to me, too. Just the way he was sitting. I was like, look at this little man. But I look forward to the match. There was some good build up to their match. I can't wait.
So bad build up to a match is the KC Express hyping up their match next week against Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. They're tired of being overlooked and they're used to being overlooked. And I just didn't get all this because I think Mercedes Martinez could destroy them both by herself.
I think Toni Storm could destroy them both. This is like dead women walking right here. Like, you might as well even show up to work. Like really?
You don't think there's no chance? There's no chance? I can see a swerve happening in which Toni Storm and Mercedes don't work out. They turn on each other, and somehow the KC Express wins.
No. I don't see that happening.
Damn it.
And then go on, Eric.
I think it's going to be a fine match. I think it will be entertaining, but like the fact that Kaden was really excited, thinking she had the moves in her. She had the moves like Jagger back there. It's like,
why?
And Casey was talking all this trash. I'm like, you're like two Mercedes Martinez put together, Casey. Two of them, like stacked on top.
I tell you what, though, Casey can talk better than Ember Moon.
She can. She can.
She did.
Yes.
That was a better promo than Ember move.
She could actually talk better than her boyfriend too, Ricochet. But whatever. We're just not.
I don't even know. Are they still a thing? They may not even be a thing, man. I don't even know if Ricochet exists anymore. He didn't resign his contract. Oh God. Him and
So
Riddle
now-
both, man.
So now to the main event. Riley versus someone.
Someone who I honestly don't even know if this person had a face. Didn't even know if she had a
After
face.
that phantom punch, I know she doesn't.
That punch knocked the face off of her.
So this happened, but like I'm so invested in this, and I really want to know who the character is, and I just need to know. But like the story happens, but as soon as you get those black bars, those film bars, when in the entrance, you know shit's about to happen.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Manny, and you know when the whoever the master is, when they take the dark order symbol of this, and that means destroy that lady some more.
No, it's a claw. The Dark Order one's a claw. This one's more.
They're very similar. They're very similar, but at the same time, theirs was more dominating because it made Zaya go back and get those ribs. And then the left titty got destroyed by a knee to it, and I was like, damn. Damn.
She got all titty with that knee.
It was like left titty go.
Damn it. Charlotte, who's your boob doctor, man? Sadly, that knee my titty. Oh. So I want us all right now to take a stab at it. Who's the woman under the veil or the person under the veil? Man or woman? You can go with whoever.
I'm claiming Jay White. I want it to be Jay White. You said Melina a few months ago. I really wanted to be Jay White.
I want to go a different answer. Eric, who you got?
I don't want to find out, to be totally honest. I just want it to be a mystery. Like, because until somebody decides to go and attack her up on the stage, it's like, when does Xia Li get that meaningful feud? Because technically, shouldn't Boa be standing down there protecting her instead of protecting Xia, because Xia is a war machine? I
don't know what Boa's job is, to be honest.
He got the crack at her.
He's more like a crown bearer.
Yeah.
Like I told Manny,
Like
I just
be throwing rose petals at her leg.
I would just love that round hat. I really want that hat just to walk out in the veil and do my wushu. Like,
yeah. I'm gonna surprise you who my second pick is. Number one is still Melina of being under that mask, but my number two, it's not a woman, but it's the Velveteen Dream under the veil for no reason. Just to piss people off. The whole world would go nuts.
Well, we know
So
that's
now
not the
he's a
case because that hand
pedophile.
is not black.
He's now a pedophile,
It's
and
painted white.
and he's also a cultural appropriator.
Yeah. I can just see him coming up. Yes, baby. Yes.
I mean, the better question is who's going to be her first meaningful feud? Like, who does she beat up?
Ember Moon. Or Shotzi. Shotzi's always someone. Shotzi's always there to give.
Or Caden Carter. They have a lot of women to choose from.
No, Kaden Carr's about to get destroyed and written off TV for a very long time next week.
But to be honest, I can see Shotzi going to the main roster any day. She has no reason to be down there. And she seems like a Vince kind of chick. Just like, here you go. She comes out the tank. I love it.
Well, it was a
That's
sign
my
that
shit.
she was in the Royal Rumble last year, so
Yeah.
she's probably on their watch list.
I can see Shotzi just being going up. Like, I feel no reason for her to be here. So that was NXT. I thought it was a good show. Nothing blew me away. I'm intrigued if they are going to put a club together. So everybody can be like, they put their own club together. Well, you know, they had the Undisputed Era was already together. Just Bálor was like, I just feel Bobby Fish spot. I kind of look like Bobby Fish. Got the same beard. Not the same mustache, but same beard.
What I liked about NXT is that they left me with enough stuff to want to come back and find out the answers to next week. Like, what's going on with Finn, everybody in that situation, the tag team tournament. I'm a sucker for tag team tournaments and stuff like that. When you go back to AEW, like, I guess the only thing that you're really left with is why did Sting help Darby? But like Sting doesn't talk, so you're not going to get an answer. So it's like,
He does talk.
Oh, okay, never mind it.
He doesn't talk much. He does talk. He's not a mime, even though he dresses like one.
So we are back this Saturday. We are back this Saturday with Eric. I believe Eric is now hosting again on Saturday.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe you're not springing a surprise attack me or Marta hosting.
Well, no, because I think what you said in the pre-show meeting, because I already appeared on here, I don't think I'm willing to rant again about TNA.
AEW.
He's taking a trip back 10, 15 years.
You're right.
Snooty
So
kick in.
I have to really think this through, because it could be just one more last The Untitled Manny and Marcus show with me being featured, and then we come back full-fledged next week after I'm off of quarantine and stuff. I think that's a good idea. I really do.
That works.
Bum. You're a bum. Manny, I'm glad your network held up. And, I thought today was a good show. Oh, let's throw it up. Throw it up. Too sweet. Woo. Everybody hates us anyway because of what we did. You're not even too sweet in the camera. That looks uncomfortable. I'm really uncomfortable with you doing that. That was something. That's thinking one of your freaks out there. Something I don't really want to know. Hey, baby.
So obviously, if you like what we did, unlike some people today, like the video. Obviously, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when we are live. And help support the show if you'd like. Go to www.storefrontier.com/DSPN and pick up some of our shirts or merch. Or don't. I dare you not to. I dare you not to.
Do it.
I bet you they won't.
Do it.
I bet you can't buy a shirt.
I bet you if we sell one t-shirt today, I will buy somebody else a t-shirt.
I dare you to buy a shirt.
I'm spiteful enough to buy a shirt, Marcus, so you can buy somebody else's shirt. Anyway, thank you guys for letting me join you on your Thursday show.
No problem. And this show was once again brought by...
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that one this time. I was not expecting that. Like when you went stop by, I was like, oh, here they come. But no, it's Billy Kay.
No, I wasn't gonna drop the other one today.
That's good. That's a blessing. The thing is about Billy Kay is that, do you think that they can reform the Iconics and put them in the Dusty tournament?
They could have.
They could just do it. They're doing nothing with Peyton Royce, and Billy Kay is the manager of the Alliance Squad. They can put them back together. I don't understand the separation.
I think Pepe is going to be a side chick to Lacey and Ric Flair.
I hope not.
Whereas Billy Kay keeps getting more TV time and gets more TV time every week.
Yes. She is the SmackDown version of Cameron Grimes or R-Truth.
Oh, yeah. Cameron Grimes and Billy Kay together would be hilarious.
I think Billy Kay's too bougie to be that disgusting with Cameron Grimes.
No, but I think that would be the dynamic of who he is, who she is. Like, what are you doing?
No, because then it's very close to her becoming Nydia.
Oh, you're right.
Yep. We've been down that road before.
And on that note, peace.